Imagine being Justin Trudeau, former Prime Minister of Canada, world-famous, beloved politician, the Obama of the North, as I've heard some people refer to him as, although that might just be because of his penchant for blackface, but Justin Trudeau is widely considered to be a very attractive man, and he comes from elite bloodlines. Whether you believe he's the son of Pierre Trudeau or he's the son of Fidel Castro, we'll probably never know the truth on that one, but either way, his father was a world leader just like he was. So he's obviously a very powerful and extremely influential man. And he still looks great for his age. He's 53 years old, but he could easily pass for younger. So why in the hell is Justin Trudeau dating Katy Perry? If this was 2010, I'd be saying, hell yeah. 20-something-year-old young woman, slim waist, big melons. 15 years ago, Katy Perry was, very nice. But Katy Perry now, no thanks. No thanks. And this is not about looks, actually. That's Russell Brand's sloppy seconds. Just imagine that. And Justin Trudeau obviously never really cared much about looks. His ex-wife looks like Shrek in drag. Even in, I actually looked up younger pictures of Justin Trudeau's ex-wife, and she was never very attractive. So I think what might have been going on with that, if you don't know, Justin Trudeau is a French Canadian. His father's name is Pierre, so that should tell you all you need to know. But he was known for being a cuck, literally talking about Pierre. But that's neither here nor there. But I think because Justin was raised in a French Canadian household, that might be why he just prefers more masculine women. So that could be, that could explain his ex-wife. Although another compelling theory is that he's actually gay and his ex-wife was just cover. And I do think that makes a lot of sense too, because apparently they had known each other since they were little kids. So it makes sense. They've known each other their whole lives. So she would be a person that he could trust not to out him. But yeah, Justin Trudeau, who is recently divorced, they divorced in 2023, he is apparently dating Katy Perry now. So first of all, Katy Perry is really past her prime in every way, every single way. Her looks have gone way downhill, and her music career's been over for like 10 years as far as I know. She's still doing whatever she can to cling on to any relevance she can get. So she does a lot of reality TV. She's always a judge on those shows like American Idol or The Masked Singer or whatever. If you've ever seen her in any interviews, she's just really insufferable. She has a truly grating personality. So yes, she is wealthy and she is famous. And look, I'll admit it, she's okay looking for a 42-year-old, I guess. But she's not the same Katy Perry I used to crank it to back in my early 20s. She's above average looking amongst the 42-year-old single mother population, but that's not really saying much. But again, this isn't even about her looks. I'm just mentioning that for curiosity's sake. It's more so just her personality and just her outright fluzitude and ran-through-itedness that's kind of got me baffled on why a guy like Justin Trudeau, who could easily be with an attractive younger woman, chooses to embarrass himself on the world stage by dating Katy freaking Perry. Okay, Exhibit A. Look at this dress. I guess I don't even know if you could call it a dress, but look at what this woman wore to an event in 2024. I can't even show pictures from the rear side of this dress on here because it's just like Her crack is right there out in the open. No fabric covering it at all. She just went out in public to an event where she knows everyone's going to be taking pictures of her, and her whole crack was just exposed. Not even talking about some kind of sheer transparent material. I'm saying there's literally nothing covering her crack. It's disgusting. And this is her at like 40 years old. Katie, sweetheart, first of all, you are not and have never been a woman who anybody cares about that part of you. Okay? You're famous for your melons. I should know. They were really stupendous 15 years ago. Okay? Trust me, I know. I have that one gif of her in the Elmo shirt from Saturday Night Live seared into my brain. Okay? So I know Katy Perry's strengths and weaknesses. Not once, okay, not one single time have I ever thought about Katy Perry's backside. It's never even crossed my mind. There's nothing there worth any consideration. So this wasn't even ever a good look for you, Katy. And also, if you're gonna wear something like that, how about you get your ass in a fucking time machine and travel back to 2010 when maybe somebody would actually give a damn if you wore something like that? Nobody thinks about you like that anymore, Grandma. This is just disgusting attention-seeking behavior. But when you look back on Katy Perry's entire career, that's what it's always been. Just seeking attention by trying to make herself into an object of goon desire. I know some of you might be too young to remember, but Katy Perry's very first hit song was I Kissed a Girl and I Liked It, which is like the all-time floozy anthem. So I don't know if this is like some kind of humiliation ritual Justin Trudeau has to go through in order to rise up in the ranks of the Illuminati or whatever, but it's just like, if this is really, truly the best that he can do, then holy shit, it is so fucking over out here for the rest of us. He's a freaking world-renowned former prime minister of, I guess Canada's not really a superpower or anything, but I do think they have a decent reputation on the world stage. So he's a former world leader, and he's good-looking, so rich, influential, well-liked, I think, by most of the cucked Western world. How is a washed-up pop star the best he can do? I knew it was bad out here for regular guys, but if Justin Trudeau has to date Katy fucking Perry, then Jesus Christ. Imagine if you're just like a regular guy that was recently divorced. If Justin Trudeau has to settle for Katy Perry, then a regular guy might as well just give up. I don't even want to see what a regular guy's options look like. But again, this isn't about looks. Katy Perry still looks fine, even with the wrinkles and everything, and with the way her neck looks now. Sure, she's lost her glow, I guess you could say, but obviously, I would be ecstatic if I could land a 5 years younger version of that. But let's look at Katy Perry's past, because despite what liberal, progressive, feminist allies will have you believe, a woman's past matters. It should be obvious, but if you want to truly understand a person, any person, male or female, you have to look at their past so you can understand the context of their present self. So let's look at Katy Perry's past. From 2010 to 2012, Katy Perry was married to Russell Brand. So this was during her peak, by the way, the peak of her fame and the peak of her looks. Now, I don't know too much about Russell Brand these days. I think he does some kind of controversial political podcast or something nowadays. I can't really speak on that. I just don't really know about it. But back in the day, Russell Brand was famous for being a guy that gets around. There's still tons of compilation videos of Russell Brand picking up chicks or whatever on YouTube, or like Russell Brand flirting with the interviewer and stuff like that. That was his whole thing. And 2010, the year that he got married to Katy Perry was probably also the peak year of his fame. So Katy Perry was married to a guy that was well known for being a serial womanizer. Like, she obviously knew his deal. That's what he was famous for. She knew the deal, but she got married to the guy. So what does that say about her? And before anyone tries to argue, but she was young back then. She didn't know any better. Well, in 2010, Katy Perry would have been 25 or 26 years old. So, people can and do change a bit in their perspectives and everything. But if you're retarded at 25, then you're probably still not going to be very smart at 45. And likewise, if you're a morally degenerate, capital F freaking floozy at 25 that thinks it's a good idea to get married to the most notorious active womanizer in the entire world at the time, then I don't know. I don't know what that means, but I'm pretty sure it's not good. Okay? So then after that, Katy Perry dated Orlando Bloom from 2016 up until just very recently. But apparently it was an on-again, off-again type of relationship. So that sounds like a red flag. And of course, they have a child together, out of wedlock. So that's a huge double red flag. So what the fuck is going through Justin Trudeau's head when he decides to publicly date this woman? I could maybe understand, behind the scenes, hit it a couple times and just to say, yeah, I fucked Katy Perry, so he can tell his friends when they have their little minstrel show parties or whatever he does. But to go public about it, like, he's proud about it or something. Maybe he's just a really big Lord of the Rings fan and he just really wants to meet the child of Legolas. I don't know. I just don't get it. If this isn't actually an Illuminati humiliation ritual, then I sincerely hope that Trudeau is gay and he's using Katy Perry for cover. Because if the dating market is really this fucked up, that a guy like Justin Trudeau can't do any better than the most insufferable, floozed out former pop star currently living, then as a society, we are absolutely screwed. I mean, this actually might be a humiliation ritual. It really might be. Speaking of which, does anyone remember a few years ago when Katy Perry decided to cut off all her hair and dye it blonde like Miley Cyrus? Like, what the hell was that? She was obviously having some kind of mental crisis, and I'm pretty sure, if I recall correctly, chopping off her hair also happened right around the same time she started to embrace woke politics. Like, no wonder her career took a nosedive at the exact same time. There's a million or more women out there with just as good a singing voice as Katy Perry. The reason that she was the massive pop star out of all the talented singers out there is because she also had big, juicy melons. That combination is a bit more rare than just having a great voice. So everything about her image was just, her whole thing was being a willing sex object for dudes to goon over. Her success was like 80% flues, 18% production by other musicians that wrote music for her, and 2% voice, if that. So obviously, doing the whole mental crisis, bald head scallywag, obnoxiously woke thing was career self-deletion. She must be stupid. She must be. Like, Katy, if you're listening to this, I want you to know that the reason you were so successful is because you dared us to dream, to imagine what it would look like if you, at the ripe young age of 23, with those big old juicy melons busting out the seams of your blouse, were to touch your lips to another woman's lips. You dared us to dream, to imagine. That was your career. That's the whole thing. That was your whole thing. It's the reason why you are rich and famous right now. Shaving your head and fighting for the rights of indigenous neurodivergent trans people is a freaking bonkers ass career move. And it also says a lot about your own mental health and intellect and your values. And I mean that in the worst way possible. So Katy Perry now is clearly a degenerate woke idiot, and she's also not even hot. But most importantly, she just seems really annoying to be around. So is this really the best that Justin Trudeau can do? Is he just also so hungry for relevance that he's just trying to get with the first famous woman he can get his hands on? Because that's the only way this makes any sense. Or maybe he actually is gay. I don't know, but I think that is a viable theory. I mean, the man is French Canadian, so, it kind of says it all right there. But yeah, if this is at all indicative of broader trends, then it's even more over for average guys than I thought it was. Like, it's really over. At least get with a current pop star if you're going to go that way, Trudeau. And if this is some kind of Masonic humiliation ritual, is it really worth it? I bet she only lets him do missionary because she's still healing from trauma from her past relationships or something. Friggin' ridiculous, man. And I didn't even say much about the fact that she's a single mother. Have fun with that, Trudeau. Cuck. If you think Justin Trudeau is secretly in the closet, then please like this video and subscribe to the channel. And Katie, if you did somehow stumble across this video and you watched it all the way through, I know I was probably a little bit harsh on you with some of the things I said, but I do want you to know my inbox is open and I think I would be willing to give you a chance. So just throwing that out there. Thanks for watching, y'all.